Grakar, a being forged in the fierce fires of conflict, casts an impressive and formidable shadow. Towering at an imposing 7 feet, he is a monolith of muscle and might, his hulking figure exuding an aura of power and dominance. His skin, a vivid shade of green, is a canvas of time and turmoil, weathered by years of strife and punctuated by numerous battle scars. These badges of survival crisscross his body, each a testament to a confrontation survived, a battle weathered. His face, too, tells a story, with a rugged, square jaw that lends an edge to his hardened features. Encasing this is a bushy black beard, coarse and unkempt, trailing down to meet his broad chest. Within the recesses of Grakar's intense gaze burn 2 orbs, glimmering with an Ifrit's fire. This fiery orange glow speaks volumes of his lineage and mirrors the determination and sorrow within him. It is a testament to his long journey of introspection, self-doubt, and the struggle for redemption. A fiery crown of untamed, flame-like hair sits atop his head, tumbling down to his wide shoulders. The wild locks, with their flickering semblance, further enhance his formidable presence and reflect his fiery lineage. Clothed in the attire of the battle-ready, his apparel speaks to his warrior's heart. A hardened steel breastplate, molded to protect his vital organs, encases his torso. This armor, engraved with the tribal markings of his heritage, paints a vivid picture of his past, commemorating the battles he has endured and the warrior he once was. Grakar's mighty hands each tightly grasp an oversized battle axe, their menacingly curved blades gleaming ominously under any hint of light. These weapons, worn by use and weathered by time, tell a tale as vivid as the scars that map his body, each marking a chapter in his warrior's tale. He carries himself with a stride that echoes with resolve and fortitude. His every step is imbued with a resilience that comes from surviving a tumultuous past and a newfound determination to shed the shackles of violence and step onto a path of righteousness. Grakar is a formidable figure of redemption. His battle-hardened demeanor, fiery presence, and intense gaze etch an image that lingers in the minds of those who meet him. His past may be steeped in violence and bloodshed, but his present speaks of a journey towards redemption and change. Backstory. In the harsh, unyielding terrain of Golarion, there lived an orc named Grakar. Unlike an ordinary orc, he bore the fiery lineage of Ifrit within him, a legacy that marked him as a formidable warrior. From the moment of his birth, the ruthless path of violence was inscribed in his destiny. War was his cradle, conflict his mother's lullaby. His story was not written in the gentle ink of peace, but in the brutal strokes of conflict and war. The savage, unyielding lands of Golarion offered no respite to the weak, and Grakar, born of such a world, was anything but. Raised under the unforgiving gaze of orcish tradition, he learned to wield an axe before he could form words. As time passed, the number of lives claimed by his axes continued to mount. With each passing battle, a subtle transformation began to stir within his warrior's heart. During a raid on a peaceful human settlement, he found himself drawn to the terrified eyes of a young child, an innocent life about to be swallowed by the violence of their world. That moment seeded a whisper of compassion within his battle-hardened heart. A dying man, one of the raid's victims, managed to utter a few words before drawing his last breath. "A good death only comes after a good life," he said. At first, these words seemed like a cruel joke, a final sarcastic spit from a fallen man, but the phrase seeped into Grakar's mind, nesting there and haunting him in his quiet moments. The encounter with the dying man ignited an unfamiliar spark within him, a spark that gradually grew into a flame of introspection. His nights were filled with restless contemplation as he pondered over the man's final words. This unexpected internal turmoil was a stranger to his war-hardened soul, and it beckoned him to question the very essence of his existence. Over the years, he had known nothing but violence and bloodshed. His life was dictated by the primal urge to fight, to conquer, to survive. Yet the man's last words unveiled a new perspective, one where life could be about more than just survival. It presented the possibility of a life steeped in kindness, in honor, and in compassion, concepts that were once alien to him. Haunted by these thoughts, he found himself in a state of inner conflict. The familiar voice of violence, his lifelong companion, was now challenged by a softer voice that yearned for a path beyond the bloodlust. He wondered, could there be a life of peace for someone like him? Could he, an orc born and bred for war, find honor not in killing but in saving lives? His internal struggles did not go unnoticed. They reflected in his actions, in his once merciless strikes that now bore a hint of reluctance. His transformation led to a confrontation with his war chief, the very embodiment of the brutal path he had always known. The war chief, sensing the change within Grakar, saw this as an affront to their traditions and a challenge to his authority. As he stood before his war chief, the tension between them was as thick as the mist that blanketed their settlement. The coming duel wasn't just a physical battle. It was a raw clash of ideologies and a confrontation of the conflict raging within Grakar himself. His raw strength was undeniable. Each flexing muscle bore testament to countless battles fought and won. His grip on his axe was firm, the blade's gleam reflecting the promise of an unstoppable storm. With a thunderous roar, Grakar engaged his adversary, his strikes landing with the force of a mountain. Each movement was a display of the lethal precision he had honed through years of conflict. His power was unquestionable, the sheer intensity of his attacks making the very ground tremble beneath him, each impact resonating like a war drum that stirred the hearts of the onlookers. As he stood, towering over the defeated war chief, he had the power to end it all, to deliver the fatal blow. Yet he chose differently. Instead, he extended an act of mercy, one as unprecedented as it was profound. It defied their brutal traditions, shaking the very foundations of their ruthless clan customs. The aftermath of the duel was as chaotic as the clash itself. The war chief, shamed and defeated, rose to his feet with fury blazing in his eyes. His pride, deeply wounded by Grakar's act of mercy, sought vengeance. In his rage, he bellowed to the crowd, commanding them to execute Grakar. The proclamation echoed through the heart of their settlement, and the once united clan was now torn asunder. His brethren, the ones he had fought alongside, now regarded him with eyes filled with betrayal. They saw his transformation not as an evolution, but as a treacherous rebellion against the principles that defined their existence. Their respect and camaraderie had been replaced by a seething anger and an insatiable thirst for retribution. The clan he once called family was now his adversary. Standing amidst the uproar, he felt the crushing weight of the decision he had to make. He could lay down his axes and accept his fate, surrendering to the ire of his kinsmen. Or he could defend his newfound belief, fight against his own blood, and shatter the bond of kinship that had tied them together for years. It was a decision no one should have to make, yet there he stood, caught between honor and fraternity. In the ensuing pandemonium, Grakar chose to stand his ground. He readied his axes, not with the eagerness of a warrior excited by the thrill of battle, but with the sorrow of a brother forced to confront his kin. Each blow he parried, each attack he launched was steeped in regret and heartache. The faces that once bore familiarity and comfort were now etched with hatred and scorn. The battleground was drenched in the blood of his kin, painting a gruesome picture of the cost of his defiance. The weight of their fallen bodies bore heavily upon Grakar's conscience, a burden that would haunt him for the rest of his life. This was the harsh price he paid for choosing a path different from the one laid out for him, the path he had once tread with unflinching loyalty. Now, he wanders the lands of Golarion alone, seeking redemption for his past. Each step he takes is a testament to his desire to lead a life that would earn him a good death. It is a dangerous path, filled with shadows threatening to consume him. Yet, Grakar is determined. He carries the weight of his past sins, looking to protect those who cannot protect themselves, striving to bring light to the darkest corners. He is Grakar Goreaxe, the lone orc, on a journey of redemption. He shall face his demons, one axe swing at a time, until he finds the peace he seeks. Unrestrained, formidable, and powered by raw emotion, Grakar Goreaxe is an icon of unyielding strength and primal fury. If you are drawn to a character who personifies the raw might of nature, and the resilience of the indomitable spirit. Here is why you should let Grakar lead you into your next adventure. Unleashed power. Grakar's strength is the stuff of legends. As a barbarian, he embodies the raw power of the wild. You will be commanding a force that strikes fear into the heart of the fiercest dragon and can bring even the mightiest fortress crashing down. Stand as a bastion. With Grakar's towering stature and formidable resilience, you will stand as a bastion for your party. You are not just an offensive powerhouse. You are also a stalwart defender who can protect your allies and draw enemy attention away from the more vulnerable members of your group. Defy expectations. His journey serves as a poignant reminder that barbarians are not simply mindless brutes, but can be individuals of deep emotion and resolve. Your story can challenge the stereotype, showing that strength and fury can coexist with a tender heart and a yearning for peace. Playing as Grakar provides you an opportunity to explore these complex emotions, bringing depth and nuance to your character. Unbreakable will. Grakar's spirit is as tough as his physique. His journey will take you through challenges that require more than just physical strength. He offers a journey of resilience, endurance, and the exploration of a character who grows with every battle fought, every wound endured, every enemy vanquished. Primal rage. Unleashing his rage in battle is a thrilling experience. As your foes cower before your raw fury, you will understand what it truly means to let your emotions fuel your power. His rage will be your relentless tide, capable of sweeping away anything that dares to stand in your path. Choosing Grakar as your hero is to accept the call of the wild. It is a commitment to a life of honor, courage, and indomitable will. If you are ready to wield power forged from primal fury, to protect those you cherish and to forge a path defined by your own strength and resilience, then Grakar Goreaxe awaits your command. Take up your weapon, let your war cry echo across the lands, and carve your story into the annals of time.